Does homework time feel like a daily battle in your home? You are not alone. Today, let's dive into 10 strategies that can help you win the homework battle. My name is Suzanne. I'm a licensed educational psychologist with SoCal Educational Evaluations, and I'm a mom of 3. So I'm very aware of the homework battle. I've also been a school psychologist in the public school setting for the past 17 years and have helped countless parents help their child with getting their homework done. So, looking at tip number 1, children thrive on routines. Establish a routine for after school, including if your child goes to after school care, that focuses on having homework done quickly. Okay, put that homework time after maybe a quick snack break. Doing homework after dinner time, it is a routine, but children are going to be much more tired. I know that kids have after school sports, but if you can get your child's homework done a little bit before that sport starts, and then they'll have a little bit less to do after the sport. But getting that homework done, having it be a routine to start it pretty much after the school day ends will keep their brain into, what they just learned for the school day. And it'll establish a good precedent and routine that after school, the expectation is start your homework. The next tip that I can have for you parents is to break tasks into smaller pieces. Big assignments can feel very overwhelming for students, especially if your child struggles with a learning disability or ADHD. By breaking the homework tasks into smaller parts and giving them a choice on which one they want to tackle first, children can feel more successful by completing the homework as chunks. Even if it's one big assignment of like 20 math problems, break it down into just chunks of 5 and provide breaks between each section that you've broken it down into. Use visual timers and schedules to help them see their progress as they're tackling the different parts of their homework or a project. I know my daughter Harper just this week had like a diorama to do based on a book. So it's like a book report diorama. And so I had her break it down into 3 parts. The first parts were the less fun parts. So, like coming up with a plan, she had to make a little PowerPoint presentation, also to go with it on what was happening in the scene that she was going to create. So I had her do like the little like less fun stuff. And then we got to the arts and crafts stuff the next day because she had a week to complete the assignment. Tip number 3, if your child's really been struggling and battling you and arguing and things like that, when they do have small successes, even if it's like 2 out of the 20 math problems, give them some praise. Help them feel successful. Recognize that they're making progress. They're doing some of the homework because it's all about building that intrinsic desire to feel successful about school. Sometimes we have to use a little extrinsic motivation, and praise from your parent is number 1. Tip number 4, especially if your child does have ADHD or some other disability that's just limiting their ability to sustain attention, to sit down, to focus, or maybe they have anxiety when things seem too difficult. It's all about their perception of the homework. The homework might actually only take them 2 minutes sometimes, but sometimes children, they get anxiety, they get worked up that it looks like it's going to take them a long time. So for those children, you want to make sure that they know that they can take a movement break. Scheduling short movement breaks actually helps your brain focus when you go back to sit down. You can go for a walk with them, do some jumping jacks, go in the backyard playground, whatever it is that helps them kind of get out of their head on the stresses of their homework, set a timer again. I love timers. And when the timer goes back off, they come back in and maybe they'll feel a little bit more recharged and refreshed to tackle any difficult homework assignments. Tip number 5 is just to set realistic expectations. You can't go from a child that is battling you and not doing any of their homework to a child that's going to complete it all the next day just because you've put in all these great systems and plans and rewards and timers and everything. Start small, have small expectations. Okay, today you're going to do homework for 20 minutes and I'm going to write a note to your teacher that You were trying for 20 minutes your best, and hopefully they'll give you a little bit of credit, even though you maybe didn't complete the task. Something's better than nothing. And if you communicate with the teacher that you are making this plan, the likelihood that they're going to support you and maybe give the student better credit for the small amount that they did do is a little bit higher. It's all about celebrating progress, not perfection. Perfection will be overwhelming. Progress, we can all make progress. Another tip for helping with homework is looking at the directions with your child and going over the directions. I know this seems obvious, but sometimes children, if they don't have the vocabulary for a certain word or they're reading the math directions, I mean, I can definitely tell you that my children do not always read the directions perfectly to do the assignment exactly how it's supposed to be. Reading the directions with them, asking them if they understand the directions, have them repeat the directions back to you so that you can make sure that they understand what the expectation is for the assignment. Tip number 7 is going to be all about that homework environment. We don't want the TV on. We want a quiet space. If they have other siblings that might be younger than them and playing or, have finished their homework, you want to remove the siblings if the homework space is like the kitchen table, or make it the whole house is, doing quiet time, even for the siblings that don't have homework or that have finished their homework. They can read a book, do a puzzle, listen to something on headphones. There's always things that can make the whole house be quiet while your child that's struggling with homework can do their work. You want to make sure the TV's off, no technology around, distraction-free zone. If they have a desk in their room, I'd recommend leaving the door open so that you can more easily check on them, because I know sometimes kids shut the door and then they're doing their own thing and they tell you they finished their homework and they didn't even start. Tip number 8 is all about their emotions. So if they're feeling really stressed, if they're feeling anxiety, the temperature's rising over, some kind of assignment that just feels too difficult, or a few weeks ago, my daughter Brooke was doing her iReady. So I don't know if your school does iReady, but it's a computer-based program and she wasn't passing her level. And she definitely started to cry and just got very upset that she had taken the level twice and she still wasn't passing it. So I gave her a break and just acknowledged, that it was very stressful. I sat with her. We did something else. I had her draw a picture, kind of calm down, get her brain back functioning. Because when we're upset, our brains aren't going to work to solve those problems, to solve math, to, the thing that's hard, it just becomes harder because our brains are not working when we're so upset. Tip number 9 is to let your child have more control. So when your child comes home, they've had their snack or a little break, it's time to start the homework. And they immediately go to no, I don't want to do it. Give them a choice. Say, okay, do you want to do your math first? Do you want to do your science first? Whatever it is, take a look at it and say, which one do you want to do first? And then put in all of those tips. Say, okay, when you finish 30 minutes or when you finish 10 problems, what do you want to do afterwards as your break? Okay. And say, do you want a 5-minute break or a 10-minute break? We're going to pick a 10-minute break, but give them the illusion of choices and it'll help them feel more in control. And tip number 10 is to reach out for help. Like I mentioned before, let your child's teacher know that they are struggling with a certain, chapter or a certain task or certain assignment. Communication with your teacher, with the school team. Maybe your child does need an evaluation for a learning disability if, they've been trying to do their homework, or maybe they've just given up because it's been so hard over the years. These are signs that maybe there's something more going on. If your child goes to a public school, you're going to need to contact your public school, set up a meeting. In California, in my district, we call it a student study team meeting. It might also be called a student success team meeting. Ask your teacher for a meeting with herself and the principal and the school professionals that can discuss if maybe there's a suspected disability underlying your child's motivation for doing homework. And so I gave you 10 tips here, but the final tip is just to be patient. This is your child, talking to them about their future, what the purpose of homework is, why you care about their learning, why you want them to be successful in school, and what that means to you, might help them understand that homework's just not this arbitrary punishment, for being a child, right? It's about like becoming an adult, learning responsibility, learning skills so that they can one day have an amazing job that you hope that they have one day. Share your hopes and dreams with them on, if you want them to go to college, if you want them to run a business, research jobs. Even as elementary school students, learning about careers and jobs helps tie in why they're at school, why they're learning, why homework is important. What does it have to teach you? Homework's not torture. It's there to help them become wonderful, amazing adults that are self-sufficient and can have careers and goals and a life and a family and all the things that you are wishing for them. So again, my name is Suzanne Sweezy. I'm a licensed educational psychologist with SoCal Educational Evaluations. If your child does have a disability, or if you're looking to see if they qualify for an IEP and you've gone through the public school process and are looking maybe more for a private evaluation, maybe your child goes to a private school and you don't want to deal with the public school system, SoCal Educational Evaluations can support students throughout California with virtual testing and psychoeducational reports. And we can do in-person testing in Southern California at any of our office locations. For more information, please click on the link below to visit the website. There is a free intake for anyone interested in learning more about how we can support you with either consultation or evaluations. Thanks for watching.